Very good evening. I'm Delanjali Anand and these are top stories for tonight. The draft bill for gender equality and empowerment of women will be presented to the Parliament in May. 6 Sri Lankans in Canada stabbed to death by a Sri Lankan. The discussion between the IMF delegation and the opposition party leaders will be held on Monday at the President's office. Veteran radio journalist and actress Ramia passed away. The President's role through a cartoonist's eye.
Now first up in local news, President Ranil Wickremesinghe revealed plans to introduce 2 significant bills aimed at advancing gender equality and empowering women, both slated for presentation to Parliament in May.
Addressing the national celebration of International Women's Day at the Water's Edge, Battaramulla today, the President outlined the key provisions of these legislative initiatives. Under the proposed Women's Empowerment Act, the establishment of a separate commission is envisaged. This commission's primary objective will be to facilitate the advancement and empowerment of women by implementing mechanisms to protect their rights, all by constitutional provisions. President Wickremesinghe noted that the draft of this bill was published in the Gazette yesterday, marking a significant step towards its realization. He announced that a draft bill focusing on gender equality aimed at securing women's rights will be published in the Gazette in the upcoming week. This bill seeks to establish principles of gender equality across various sectors, including social, political, economic, cultural and technical policies, while also providing the necessary infrastructure to support these principles. He emphasized that these arrangements will be made through the proposed act. To ensure comprehensive consultation and collaboration, President Wickremesinghe announced the assignment of the Women's MP Caucus of Parliament to engage with various groups regarding these bills. President Ranil Wickremesinghe said that in celebrating International Women's Day, the usual practice in our country is to hold a ceremony, discuss women's rights and return home. This routine occurs every year. However, this time we have decided to implement concrete actions to amplify women's voices. The President said that last year during my meeting with the Women's Caucus in Parliament, he urged them to draft essential bills for women's rights. Among these initiatives, 2 significant bills have been prepared. The first is the Women's Empowerment Act, which aims to establish a separate commission dedicated to women's upliftment and empowerment, ensuring the protection of their rights in accordance with the Constitution. The responsibility of formulating a national policy will be entrusted to this commission by the relevant minister. He said that the draft of this bill was published in the Gazette yesterday. Additionally, another critical bill, the Gender and Equality Bill, will be published in the Gazette next week. This legislation seeks to safeguard women's rights and promote gender equality across the various sectors, including social, political, economic, cultural and technical domains, while providing necessary support for their advancement. He also said that plans are also underway to establish a Gender Equality Council with ministerial powers and to set up a gender center equipped to address issues at the ministerial level. The President said that with the implementation of these initiatives, we will establish 2 robust institutions dedicated to advancing women's rights. It is imperative that women's rights to go beyond mere rhetoric. Therefore, it is crucial that to enact appropriate legislation, a task that has been neglected for far too long. Today, we are taking significant strides in this regard. President Wickremesinghe said that he entrusts the Women's Caucus in Parliament to engage in discussions with other stakeholders and propose any necessary amendments. Amendments must be notified following the new year period in April, and the bills are expected to be submitted to Parliament in May. He also said that our efforts do not stop here. These bills mark a historic first in our region, setting a precedent for South Asia. Furthermore, we aim to introduce gender budgeting, a groundbreaking initiative that has only been implemented in a handful of countries, including Canada. We have already prepared the groundwork and intend to present the draft in consultation with the Secretary to the Treasury, an unprecedented move in Asia. The President said that during his tenure as leader of the opposition, he drafted a report on preventing violence against women. Although our plans to implement these measures in 2018 were disrupted by the short-lived government and the tragic Easter Sunday attacks, we remain committed to the cause. President Wickremesinghe said that convened the Women's Caucus in Parliament to review these initiatives and address any necessary amendments. This marks the first step towards meaningful change for women in our country. Additionally, today we are unveiling national guidelines for temporary women's care centres, further demonstrating our commitment to safeguarding women's rights and well-being. State Minister Geeta Kumarasinghe said that it is noteworthy that women are significant contributors to our country's economy. Despite comprising 52% of the population, women's political representation remained dismally low, with only 6% contributing to the politics. The guest lecture was delivered by Senior Lecturer of the Department of Sociology at the University of Kelaniya, and direct ministers and other distinguished guests were present at this occasion.
Now, in some news that rocked the entire world, Canadian authorities say that 6 people from Sri Lanka, including a mother and 4 young children, were knifed to death in the Canadian capital, Ottawa, yesterday, shocking a country where mass murders are rare. Canadian police say the 6 victims were newcomers to Canada and the youngest was less than 3 months old. A 19-year-old student from Sri Lanka who lived with the family has been charged in the killings. The victims were identified as 35-year-old Darshani Tilantika Ekanayaka and her 4 children, 7-year-old Inuka Wickremesinghe, 4-year-old Ashwini Wickremesinghe, 2-year-old Rinyana Wickremesinghe and 2-month-old Kelly Wickremesinghe. The acquaintance and 6th deceased victim was identified as 40-year-old Gamini Amarakon. Media reports that the family's father suffered injuries and was taken to hospital in serious but stable condition. The suspect was identified by police as 19-year-old Febrio de Zoiza. He has been charged with 6 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of attempted murder. It has been reported that the victims were killed and injured using an edged weapon. The police investigation is ongoing. Barhaven residents and members of Ottawa's Sri Lankan community say they are struggling to process the horrific mass killing of 4 young children and their mother and a family acquaintance.
The investigation has found that an edged weapon was used to cause the deaths and injuries. To be clear, this was a mass killing, not a mass shooting. We have arrested and charged a 19-year-old male, Frank D'Souza, with 6 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of attempted murder. The accused is a Sri Lankan national who is believed to have been in Canada as a student. I'll emphasize he is the only suspect. I want to emphasize this was a senseless act of violence perpetrated on purely innocent people. I know our whole community is shocked and mourning this event. I want to offer my condolences to the loved ones of all the victims for this unimaginable loss.
Obviously, our first reactions are all ones of shock and horror at this terrible violence. We are expecting that the community reaches out to support family and friends, as Canadians always do, and we expect the police of jurisdiction to be doing the work and keeping us all informed of this terrible tragedy.
I can't explain it. It's tough.
Did you know them?
No, I didn't, but I mean, I'm seeing it, seeing the guys in their white suits and everything. It's more real now.
Like a family moving from Sri Lanka to here with like such a young family with young kids, they probably had a lot of hopes and dreams. So it's very sad.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe has given the opportunity to the political party leaders of the opposition to have talks with the IMF delegation regarding the debt restructuring proposals for Sri Lanka. This discussion is scheduled to be held at the President's office on the 11th of this month. Opposition leader Sajith Premadasa, leader of the National People's Power Anurakumara Dissanayake, leader of the Tamil National Alliance Sivanagnam Sridharan have been invited to take part in this meeting. The President's Media Division says that any person who are willing to take part in this discussion will be allowed to express their ideas. Chairman of the Parliament's Financial Committee, Dr. Harsh De Silva, has also been invited for talks. He has recently requested President Ranil Wickremesinghe to join this discussion. The President's stance is to successfully carry forward the debt restructuring program with the IMF. He requests all the relevant parties to support collectively to advance with this program.
Now, the Nelum Pokona Theatre in Colombo hosted the launching ceremony of the Press vs. Press book yesterday, with President Ranil Wickremesinghe presiding over the event. President Wickremesinghe, in his address, hailed such publications as integral to the democratic fabric of the nation, affirming that they underscore the freedom entrenched within the country. He juxtaposed this with the absence of such creations in totalitarian regimes, emphasizing the significance of the established freedom of expression. The President also expressed his humble pride in the removal of criminal defamation laws, reinforcing the government's commitment to democratic values. Turning to economic matters, President Wickremesinghe credited the nation's positive economic trajectory to the resilience demonstrated in implementing challenging governmental programs. He expressed optimism that the country is emerging from its trials, heralding a brighter future. Gratitude was extended by the President to the cartoonists whose creations brought joy during difficult times, acknowledging their contribution to lifting spirits. The book, spanning President Ranil Wickremesinghe's parliamentary journey from June 23, 2021 to May 2023, compiles about 618 cartoons published in newspapers. Contributions from 40 cartoonists and nearly 20 journalists were pivotal in creating this compilation, with special appreciation reserved for the cartoonists and the TV anchors who showcased these works on television. Special guest Indian cartoonist Nala Ponnappa delivered a notable speech at the book launch, adding to the event's significance. Additionally, Professor Rohan Nettasinghe provided a comprehensive review of the book, adding scholarly insight to its content.
It's how the steel was tempered by Nikolai Ostrov. So Ostrey, the word Ostrey, the meaning of the word is sharp in Russian. This word is very relevant to His Excellency because he has been sharp all the way through. And His Excellency Ranil Wickremesinghe, as the President of Sri Lanka, and the First Lady, Professor Maitri Wickremesinghe, who are here, they know very well about facing the challenges. So I would like to go off the track a little bit now, because when I was sitting there, I heard a comment from a cartoonist. එතුමා කියනවා ඇහුණා cartoonist කියන්නේ බොහොම කොන්ද පන තියෙන જાතියක් අපි කරන වැඩ හරියට කවුරුත් දන්නවා නම් අද වගේ දවසක අපිට එන්න කියන්නේ නැහැ කියලා. hina වෙලා කිව්වේ අපිට hina යනවා කියලා. නමුත් ඒකේ අනිත් පැත්ත මං හිතන්නේ you are invited today because the President himself acknowledges the fact that through your talent you have done this enormous job. Of course, it's sometimes hurtful, as you heard from the performers there, to have such criticism. But as I said in the beginning, Our Excellency has sharpened his knowledge and skills. I would like to personally thank you, sir, for your leadership and for taking this country forward. I wish you all the very best, good health and long life, and thank you for all the cartoonists for doing this marvelous job so that people can compile those creations and refer to them in the future to learn about a resilient, strong leader who lives in this small, tiny island. I have never seen any references to the First Lady, which shows her highly professional nature of involvement or disinvolvement in the political matters of her husband. So, Madam, I take this opportunity to thank you for being a role model for the future leaders of this country.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe said that it must be noted that this collection of cartoons is in line with a long-standing tradition. The President said that he recalls visiting Honorable J.R. Jayawardena's residence and observing similar collections, as well as witnessing comparable cartoons at Sir John Kotalawala's house. Therefore, Vajirabai Wardena has continued this tradition admirably. He said that reflecting on the period between 2021 and 2023, he recalled a cartoon included in this book capturing his swearing-in ceremony as acting president. At that time, due to security concerns, the oath-taking ceremony was held at the Valukarame temple amidst a tumultuous political climate where violent mobs surrounded the parliament. The intervention of the army was necessary to restore order. The President said that during this tumultuous period, we had to take decisive steps to rebuild the country's economy and restore peace and stability. Approximately 2,000 cartoons were produced during this period, which underscores the democratic nature of our society. He said that he is proud to have repealed the defamation law, which has further strengthened freedom of expression in our country. These cartoons symbolize the freedom and vibrancy of our democracy. The President said that as the country approaches the upcoming presidential and parliamentary elections later this year, he anticipated an increase in such cartoons, showcasing our commitment to democratic freedom.
The factory complex to manufacture electric three-wheelers and to transform failed three-wheelers into electric three-wheelers was declared open today under the patronage of Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena. Vega Engineering Company has installed this factory at the railway storage complex premises in Maradana. The entire production process of Vega Electro-Tech three-wheelers is conducted at this factory. Automatically body and chassis building, manufacturing batteries and many technical appliances will have been installed in this factory. In addition, there is a separate section to transform fuel-run three-wheelers into electric three-wheelers. The factory's aim is to transform all fuel-running three-wheelers to electric three-wheelers. It has already started a project to transform 100 such three-wheelers per month with the financial sponsorship of a private company. Minister Dr. Bandula Gunawardena instructed the officials here to transform all fuel-running three-wheelers at the Makumra Multi-Model Transport Centre to electric three-wheelers. The minister also ordered to deploy an officer of the Motor Traffic Department at his factory to register the modernizing three-wheelers there. A separate sticker and color is to be used in the number plate to identify electric three-wheelers. Secretary to the Ministry, Ranjit Rupavahini, Chairman of the Vega Company, Dr. Haji Rupavahini, and several others were present at this occasion. Today is the third day of the Air Force Air Tattoo Educational and Technical Exhibition organized by the Sri Lanka Air Force in Jaffna.
Now, this has been organized in line with the 73rd anniversary of the Sri Lanka Air Force. This is the first educational exhibition on Air Force and aviation technology held in the Northern Province. Today's exhibition was declared open by Defence Secretary Retired General Kamal Gunaratne and Air Force Commander Air Marshal Udeni Rajapaksa. The exhibition is comprised of over 200 stalls. Parachute, firefighting demonstrations, emergency rescue and kennel displays are also included in this exhibition. In addition, a trade exhibition and a musical show have also been organized. Jaffna University, Jaffna branch of Kotalavala Defence University, Jaffna Board of Industrial and Commerce and many state and private institutions have extended their support to make this event a success. The exhibition is open for the public from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. each day at the Muttaveli grounds in Jaffna. Air Force Commander Air Marshal Udeni Rajapaksa said that earlier the youth in Jaffna area were unaware of the fact that they were also able to join the Sri Lanka Air Force. Many youth were in queues at the Air Force recruitment stall in the exhibition. Hindus world over celebrates Mahasivaratri day today.
Celebrations are being conducted giving priority to religious observances. According to Hindu religion, Shiva is the most powerful god and today is considered as he had shown his mighty to the world. Hindu devotees engaged in religious observances in the name of God Shiva from this night till tomorrow morning. They are engaging in fasting and offer puja at Hindu temples and kovils.
Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya.
Issuing a Mahasivaratri message, President Ranil Wickremesinghe says that he wishes the spiritual light of the oil lamps the devotees light today would invoke blessings to the people living in Sri Lanka. The country is facing an unprecedented economic crisis during this period. The President stresses that the government has been striving with conviction to save the country from this economic downturn during the past 2 years. That program has become successful at present to fulfill the aspirations. Issuing a Mahasivaratri message, Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena says that Sri Lankan Hindu community has been living in the island with coexistence and cultural harmony since ancient history. The Prime Minister invites all communities to live in peaceful manner following the norms and principles of Mahasivaratri celebrations. The Premier also highlights the need to carry forward the present economic progress for the well-being of the entire nation.
Today is International Women's Day. Celebrations have been organized island-wide today to mark this event. Now, the celebrations organized by the UNP's Lakwanita Peramuna was held in Pitakotte today. Several leading women who contributed significantly to the country's economy were felicitated at this ceremony. A website of the Lakwanita Peramuna was also launched today. Chairman of the Lakwanita Peramuna Shantini Koon Gahage and many others were present at this ceremony. Parliamentarian Wajira Bewardena said that the draft bill of empowering women was notified by the Gazette last midnight. Under the bill, a national fund for women will be established. This is the most important decision taken by the President for International Women's Day. Minister Manushanana Kara said, that there are 30% of women in the country's labor force. This couldn't be improved due to many reasons. Women are reluctant to get jobs due to the maternity leave. Therefore, the ministry has prepared a new labor law and a social security system for the benefit of pregnant women. In providing maternity leave, the salary for the relevant period is paid by the new fund instead of the employer. Another celebration to mark the Women's Day was held at the maternity hospital in Castle Street under the patronage of opposition leader Sajith Premadasa. He donated an incubator machine and a baby warmer worth 4.5 million rupees to the hospital. Opposition leader Sajith Premadasa said that strong action will be taken regarding the rights of mothers and children that are not mentioned in the Constitution. These rights will be secured through the Constitution in a future government. Podujana Peramuna Women's Wing donated essential drugs and food items to the patients at the Apeksha Hospital in Maharagama to mark Women's Day. Minister Pavitra Vanyarachi and leading activists of the party were present at this occasion. Minister Pavitra Vanyarachi said that the government needs to provide loans at lower interest rates in order to empower the public who are engaged in self-employment. The ministry will provide the maximum benefits as much as possible to women by this government. Another celebration was held at the Ananda Samarakon studio in the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation this morning. This program was sponsored by the Sri Lanka Sumitriya organization. Officials of the Sinhala National Service of the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation and many other guests were participating in this event.
Veteran radio journalist and actress Ramia passed away today. She was 73 years at the time of her demise. Ramia Wanikasekara served as a leading news reader for over 3 decades at Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. She joined the service in 1981 and served as a permanent news reader till her retirement in 2006. She was also an A-grade Nurti singer.
වේලාව උදෑසන 6යි. මේ ශ්‍රී ලංකා ගුවන් විදුලි සංස්ථාවයි. මෙන්න ප්‍රවෘත්ති ප්‍රකාශය රාම්‍යා වනිගසේකර විසින්.
In addition, she has conquered the stage and teledrama field, showing her talents in role-playing. She was very popular with the character named Matilda in the stage play Kalani Palama, directed by her husband, late R.R. Samarakon. Born in Kotiyakumura area in Kegol, Ramia Wanikasekara started her primary education at the Ampe Mahavidyalaya, completed her higher studies at the Ruanwala Royal College. She first joined the theatre as a background singer in 1974. Later, in 1976, she started acting in stage dramas. She started her career in the Hastiraja Mahatya stage play. Later, she played significant roles in many leading stage plays.
ඔය මිනිහා කියන දේවල් ගණන් කරන් නිකන් හිත නරක කරගන්න එපා. බල්ලේ බිරුවට කන්දක් උඩ යනවාද බාල මහත්තයෝ?
Then Ramia Wanikasekara entered in the teledrama field by acting in Kandegedara, Palingu Manike and many other teledramas aired by the Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation. She was also very famous among the audience through the newly aired teledramas such as Alut Gedara, Denuwara Manike and Nanala.
සොහොන්නට පැමිණ ඔයා අමතනු මැනවි සූරයෝබ නිදිද කියා.
She has been suffering due to adverse health conditions for several years and passed away this morning while undergoing treatment at the Colombo National Hospital. Her remains are now lying at a private funeral parlour in Borella. The funeral will take place in the Borella Cemetery on Sunday evening. That's all the news we have from home. Stay tuned for international stories coming up next. Foreign media reports that Australia's Great Barrier Reef has been hit by a major coral bleaching event likely caused by heat stress built up over the summer at the biologically diverse site. The Great Barrier Reef Marine Park Authority, which monitors the reef's health, said that the damage was widespread in at least 2/3 of the area surveyed at the UNESCO World Heritage Site. The reef, a living organism, stretches some 2,300 kilometers off the northeastern coast of Australia, and it's considered one of the most species-rich habitats on Earth. The 145th Battle of the Blues between Colombo Royal College and St. Thomas's College, Mount Lavinia, was being played for the second day today at the SSC grounds in Colombo.
Now, at the stumps of the second day, Colombo Royal College team was on 234 runs for 7 wickets in the first innings. President Ranil Wickremesinghe and Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena were present there to view the match. Royal College batted in their first innings today. Captain Sinet Jayawardena was the highest scorer with 92 runs. Ashen of St. Thomas's College claimed 3 wickets. St. Thomas's scored 297 runs in their first innings yesterday. Sadev Soiza scored 83 runs and Dinesh Gunawardena scored 50 runs. Ramia Rupavahini and Sinet Jayawardena claimed 4 wickets each for Royal College.
Started off well, St. Thomas's. They were getting those runs quite fast. This was Gunawardena getting to his half-century.
And that was a look at your news here at Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation. Wishing you a pleasant evening. I am Siobhan Pereira together with Dulanjali Anand. Hope you have a great evening.